Hey, good morning. I wanted to share with you guys like a really funny story. Now it's funny. A few weeks ago, I have my kids home a lot more with me now. We've had a lot more conflict in our home. And after a conflict, one of my kids stormed from the room. We had to cool down. I don't even remember if we resolved it or how it was resolved. But later that day, the next morning, in fact, I found that one of my kids, in their anger, had come into my office where I have all my journal and my Bible, and I'm reading this amazing book on kids and spirituality and how they hear God. And on the front cover is written in pen, "Mom is mean." And I was like, haha, this must be something in parenthood we all experience. But then I found myself thinking about it later, especially because my mom and I were about to record an episode on judgment and the stronghold of judgment. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing this "mom is mean" in a new light. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, not only has my child judged me, but they have also a curse, calling someone something that they're not, mean. And that isn't something God spoke over in me when he created me, and that's not true about me. And I'm seeing this and I'm beginning to panic and go into a spiral of negative emotion. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, am I cultivating a home where judgments and curses are just easily shared and given and thrown at each other? Oh my goodness, when am I judging so much? Has my child felt judgments against me? Am I a bad parent? Am I a bad person? And I went in a spiral. And I didn't go to God first thing. I kind of did, but it was motivated in a really weird way. I went to God and I was like, okay, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to show my kid that they can't be a judgmental person who whips around curses? And I sat down and was having reflective time, but I immediately wrote out 4 things that I was going to do to help my kid not judge and to navigate these conversations, because I wasn't going to have a child who judged others. Because when it came down to it, my child's behavior, I was believing, was a reflection of me as a person and my value as a person. Guys, we got to think through those things. I think a lot of times we can go forward and try to understand and spiritually find something, but what is the motivation? And my underlying motivation wasn't pure. It was out of a self-protection. And so it took me I actually wrote down 4 things, made this plan, went and tried to do it, wrote it out, and it felt terrible because of my motivation. Deep down, I had this connection that my value as a parent, as a person, comes from my child's behaviors. And God showed me that in itself was an actual form of judgment. I was judging myself on how good of a parent I was, and I was judging my child's behavior. And it felt like I was trying to control and even spiritually manipulate them, all to make myself feel better, when I just had this wrong belief I needed to get right. And how many times do we do that as a parent or in other relationships, want ourselves to feel better so we control those around us? And so I had to go to God and I had to release that and say, I confess I'm trying to control, and this spiritual plan I made to fix my child was from my own deep insecurities, fears, and judgments. And I released that to God and I said, I'm trying to, and on the journey of trying to figure out, how do I disciple my child? How do I help them hear God? But how do I do that, God? And he gave me this beautiful picture as I released this judgment and these negative emotions, these lies I was believing. The truth that he in turn gave me was, you are to be his guide. You are to be your children's guide, not their judge. And he gave me a picture of Judge Judy. And all the weight and pressure judges feel trying to make these life-altering decisions for people. That's not the role he gave me. I'm not meant to do that. the role he gave me was a guide, and I thought of the Psalm 23 came in my head, and I of the Lord being my shepherd, and I'm following him, and as I'm following him through dark valleys, quiet streams, high mountaintops, wherever life is taking us, because there's going to be conflict, there's going to be hard things. As I follow him, I can guide my children to go with us. And I wonder for that for us today, if you've been feeling that judgment or believing negative things about yourself, feeling conflict come up and not knowing what to do with it, especially in our families, whether your children are grown or young like mine, what is the role we've been putting on that God wants us to take off, whether it's judgment or something else, the fixer, control, whatever we're putting on? What is the role that he has for us that's made for us and that's going to feel fulfilling and exciting to take? For mine, it was guide. And so I thought of 4 things I want to share with you all in a freebie we're doing this month. You can find on our website. But what is he made for you, and what is the role he wants you to play within your family? Is there something you need to take off and a truth you need to put on that is specifically for you in this season? And so I encourage you guys to think about that and process through today. Is there something you can take off and something God's asking you to put on? So have a good one.